welcome to the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we talk about the nerdy news that we enjoy and like to talk about, and also answer questions from you, the people. But before we get started, Steve's, how you doing? How's your week been? Before we get into the news, I know you're hot and ready to go. You're spiced.
Spicy.
How you doing? How's the week? How's the heat treating you? Because I'm dying.
The heat is horrendous here in Northern California. I didn't even check to see how you guys down south are doing weather-wise.
We've had similar. So if it's hot for you, it's hot for us. But it's like
Okay.
so it's like 112 for you. It's like 107 for us.
Oh yeah, it's lovely, ain't it? It's lovely. It's grand. It's grand for this Labor Day weekend. I did actually decorate our house, the inside, for Halloween and fall because I wanted it out of the way.
Wow.
And usually it's cool temperatures when I do that, but not this weekend. No, I was sweating putting up decorations, which never happens. But hey, my decor in the inside is up and ready to go, and I just do the outdoors when we get closer to October.
This is for the Halloween stuff already?
For the Halloween in the fall, I was like, September is going to be decoration, and why not the first weekend of September?
This is this will be your first holiday season with us doing the update. Do you I'm gonna limit you to 3. Don't explain why. Just I want you to make 3 suggestions of Halloween movie or a show or a thing to do for our audience.
Now?
Yeah, just give 3. No explanation. Just say, watch this, do that, check out this show or something. Wherever you want to do. But I'm just like, you know what? You love the Halloween.
I do. I love the Halloween. I'm gonna say John Carpenter's Halloween for movie, 1978. To read,
Weiches.
Comic book, Weiches.
Up to you.
Comic book, Weiches. Book, anything Stephen King. Anything by Stephen. Series, tough one. I'm going to resort back to Fox's The Exorcist.
They had a series?
That's the one that the second season had John Cho and Brianna Hildebrand.
The Exorcist?
The Fox had a series, only got 2 seasons, deserved more because I loved where they were going with it. The first season ties to the original film. The second season, same like 2 main characters, but goes into a whole new story. And that's where John Cho comes in, is in the second season. But The Exorcist is on Hulu. It was produced by Fox. Only got 2 seasons. I wish it would have continued because they were going a great angle with it that I was loving. But it's really good. It's freaky. It's true to the movie while creating its own angles. That's where John Cho's drama shined for me, was in the second season, because he was excellent in that second season.
Okay.
So there you go. So John Carpenter Halloween, Witches by Scott Snyder in the comics, anything by Stephen King in the novel world, and for TV series, Fox's The Exorcist.
All right. Before we get too far into the show, let's go and do that clappity clap, so we get started for fun.
Let's get the clap.
Yeah. Yeah. That good old chlamydia. Baby, you know what I'm talking about? Just continuing for me. It's hot. I'm sweaty. Also, Steve's, you'd like this. I got into a little bit of MMA this weekend.
Oh.
And my neck's been really stiff.
Oh, I believe that.
I got thrown around a lot, and it was that point where my trainer, coach, whatever, was like, "All right, we're gonna do 10 minutes, you and me, and then we'll 10 minutes him and me, and then we'll see where we're at." And I was like, I realized really quickly, like, you know what? I probably will never ever truly be the aggressor when it comes to a fight, ever in my life, because he's like, "All right, come." And I was like, "But why? What am I gonna do? Why am I fighting?" And it's like, you have to come to me, and then I respond, right?
I don't want it.
And no, I got thrown around a lot. I got put into a lot of different holds, and there was a moment where I definitely got slammed, and I tensed up, and it's messed up my entire neck. So, yeah,
that'll happen.
Yeah,
that'll happen. Any holds you were put in, like a guillotine at all? Or?
All of them. I was put into all of them. Because it was pretty much like he was just like pretty much going from just different just different starting positions and like how to get
Mhm.
out. And then he's like, if you do this, you got to do this. Then he would just throw me into things like, and then you got to do this. And he's like, then you got to whip your leg around. And he just kept doing things like, and he's like, I want you to fight out of all of them.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh my god. And so he was like, you have good stuff here and there, but it's like you just got to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And I was like, oh my god. So
The guillotine is one of my favorite submission holds, where you're kind of holding the guy in a DDT, but you're just choking the neck.
I mean, I was in
And
a lot of those.
yeah, and sometimes the legs wrap around to make sure you can't get out. It's my favorite submission move.
There was a lot of those, and it was tough. It was rough. But
Made it though. You're here. Look
I'm,
at
I'm
you.
here. I'm here.
Huh?
And T Dog. I did all the lidocaine. I did all the icy hot. I did all the tiger bomb. I took baths. And oh boy, it was. I think I still got bruises here. Probably.
That's gonna happen.
So, I mean,
Did you exhale when you were thrown?
I don't know, man. So this is the thing. It was like, hey, 45 minutes to an hour of just jabbing, comboing, push-ups, sit-ups, doing drills, doing different combos nonstop. And then he's like, okay, cool. We're going to, like, last 20 minutes, we're going to do this. And so I'm just, like, drenched, absolutely drenched. Like, half the reason why I was able to get out of any of those holds is because I was so sweaty. I was slipping out of all of them. And it was rough. And I couldn't tell you if I can tell you right now, every time I hit the ground, I would go, ah! So I never hide my pain. I'm just like, oh, I was like, oh god, and I'm just like, and then he's like, fight, and I'm like, I'm trying.
It's a nice thing to remember when you're tumbling, when you're falling. It's taught in pro wrestling. When you're falling, exhale on the way down, because if you stiffen up and hold your breath, you're gonna tear or break something. When you exhale, you're loose. You're less likely to break or tear anything, or you may get sore still, but when you're exhaling on the way down before you hit, it helps preserve.
I mean, I think I definitely tensed up when I knew I was going from like how tall I am to completely on the ground, and I was just like, I have nothing. I can't do anything, and it hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, we're alive. Hey, live and learn, baby.
You're alive.
Living on the
you
edge
MMA'd,
of tomorrow,
bro.
Yeah,
you
man.
MMA'd. Yeah. You can now just be like Nate Diaz and say, "I'm not surprised, motherfucker." Just say it.
No, I'll always be surprised and I'll be in pain. But you know what? I'll be like, I won't give up. I won't give up.
There it is. You'll never back down.
See,
it's a movie.
See, the difference is I'll be like on the ground. See, like if I fight Cap, I'll be on the ground where Tony was, and I'll say like, I could do this all day. And I'm on the ground though. And I'm like,
sore. I could do this all day. Kick your legs a little bit, trying to trip them.
Yeah, I'm sore, god of blunder. I'm 5'10", so, and my coach is like 6 foot, so like and he's built and he's Samoan.
I'm only an inch taller than you. I'm only an inch or two taller than you. I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, and I weigh 172 pounds. So, not packing all the muscle.
I can lift you.
All right. How much were you, like, what, 208?
Me, I'm 230 right now.
Okay. I could almost bench you.
Yeah, I'll let you.
Okay. I mean, I might not. But all right. We got the show to talk about some nerdy news. We talked a lot of stuff. I introed the show. Steve's.
Yeah.
Please intro. What is your news, please?
I'm gonna go with. Do I start with my anger first or go with the happy first?
Go anger, then go into happy, then I can go in.
Okay, I got so 3 things. So we'll do the angry thing first, guys. I don't know if you've noticed, but it is the end of times. Our society is crumbling. Democracy has fallen. There's no hope for us or our kids because the greatest travesty in the history of time occurred last week on Disney Plus when SheHulk twerked. I know it's devastating.
Thanos
Thanos was right. How dare this fully clothed character in a suit where the only skin showing was her face. How dare this woman, in a moment of joy with the Megan Thee Stallion, also in a business suit, danced around and twerked for God help us for 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds of twerking, and I don't know how our kids or our families or our society will ever make it from this trauma of seeing She-Hulk twerk in her own office by herself with her new friend Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know what will happen to our world because it occurred last Thursday, and it's just devastating. It's devastating.
Scorsese
I
was
don't know what
right.
to do. Yeah, Scorsese was right. Yep. You know what? Fake election fraud, January 6th. But up top,
The frogs are going.
that twerking,
The frogs are
the
becoming
twerking,
gay.
the frogs are becoming gay. Alex Jones was right.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those of you watching know I'm being sarcastic as fuck right now. It is the dumbest thing to be upset about this show, which I'm enjoying for being just a lighthearted comedy. It's no save the world show. It's no prove you're the hero show. It's a lawyer trying to just do her job featuring Marvel characters. It's a comedy. And yes, she did twerk with Megan Thee Stallion in this at the very end. It was a post-credit scene. And she wasn't in a bikini. They weren't on a beach trying to get men. It was Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk celebrating, dancing, She-Girl fawning over Megan Thee Stallion, and they twerked for 3 seconds. Get over it. The show's TV-14. You should be watching it with your kids, letting them know that they're just dancing around, not trying to get guys. It was a funny moment. Ease up.
Because there's more things you get upset about, like the bad CGI, the bad.
At least that's valid.
Well, and so
at least the CGI is a valid argument. Yes,
this
it is weak in many parts.
This is me. This is me. I'm the number one. Probably I don't know. You know, I hate to be a gatekeeper of anything, right? But it's like I think to me, I am the most like top candidate to be like if someone's gonna shit talk Marvel, it probably should be Tom because he's not gonna just try to destroy it completely, but he also watches all of them and he does try to give them a chance. But like, and so like this is my thing, right? It's like so. Love and Thunder came out, right? I call it Love and Blunder because it triggers all the fucking Marvel fanboys. Because look, this is the two camps, right? Is you got people who are super sensitive and being like, "Oh my God, Marvel's ruining everything," and then you got the people who are like, "Oh my God, Marvel's the greatest thing of all time." Never this in between shit, right? And if you just say one thing to both sides, explosion occurs. If you're gonna like critique Marvel and She-Hulk and all this stuff, like the idea of She-Hulk dancing, like the idea of that character is supposed to be like woman confident incarnate, right? And it's supposed to be like, and I like to think of it like kind of like Black Panther, right? It's supposed to be like an African king uninterrupted, right, by colonization and things like that. It becomes the most powerful nation in the world. And just imagine She-Hulk, right? Kind of this character who's like uninterrupted by whims of like what our world kind of put women through. But so like this is a super strong and but like she has her own struggles. I haven't watched the show, so I can't even say if it's a good show or a bad show. But I mean, there is so much flack that this show had coming from even before it even released. Women, CGI, too much comedy, yada yada. And to me, this is my thing. Like, I'm not a fan of comedy either, but like also it's like going to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant and then getting like white plates. It's like you're going to a dine-in restaurant. What are you expecting? You know, like there's always everyone's like, oh, it's like going to a McDonald's and getting a Happy Meal. It's like I'm not trying to say that MCU Disney stuff are like fast food garbage, trash, bad for your body. I do think people need to diversify their viewing habits, but trying to talk in defense as well as like give it its fair due, but also still being, if we're pointing the stick of standards, it's like, talk about like what does this show feel like it does for the greater MCU? Like try to engage with what it's trying to say. Is it trying to have these smaller stories or bigger stories? Do we like what this character brings? Like, okay, now we have two radioactive green emerald behemoths, right? And so it's like, okay, like, but if you're gonna be like this equals that, twerking equals predation on children and minors and young minds, and it's like, then have all of the MCU be taken away completely because all of those movies are PG-13, and it's like, yep, all these kids now are going to just take their toasters and put it on their arms and try to shoot terrorists, in other countries, and it's like, Like
And
that's the
see,
thing. That's like where does the line go? And it's like, oh, too many jokes, and it's like, but this isn't a new thing. Like if you're saying like there's too many jokes, like there's always been a humorous bone in the MCU. Has it gotten more in the last few years? Sure, but like everyone raved and said like how Ragnarok was like the most revolutionary film in the MCU. This is what you got. Like you get more of what you say you like, and then now you get Taika Waititi saying he may not come back for Thor 5, which is like, but didn't you guys want him back for Thor 4?
and see, the thing is, that's where it's different. To some fanboys out there, it's cool when Tony Stark is dancing and joking. It's cool when Star-Lord is dancing and joking. It's cool when Deadpool is dancing while he's killing somebody. But the minute a confident woman character does it, suddenly the little guys in mom's basement who are aging 45, who think they're tough guys in the keyboard, suddenly have a problem when it's a woman who's doing it, when she's the funny one who's dancing confidently, not needing a guy to do it. There's two camps who have a problem with She-Hulk and her twerking. It's the guys I just mentioned, and the lovely QAnon types who see anything Disney puts out that may be taboo as getting your kids part of a cabal to drain them of their blood and become everlasting.
I just want to know when that started. That idea of like there's an active recruitment agency for this like drinking lizard's blood, like
It's Salem Witch Trials 2.0. That's all Q is. It's the Salem Witch Trials. It's the Puritans today. They come up with a bad guy. This stuff goes back to the Black Plague, and it's all deemed in anti-Semitic, anti-Zion stuff that just gets repackaged every few centuries. I listened to the last podcast on the left. They break this stuff down a lot. It just gets repackaged every few centuries into something new. And right now, it's Q. And there are so many things you can validly critique Disney on, the way they choke competition out, the way you can't get an independent movie in theater because their movies are taking up 10 screens. These are valid arguments against Disney. When you come at me with this Puritan crap, this Salem Witch Trials 2022, you're an idiot. You're dumb. They have a woman twerking in a show that is not an attempt to steal your kids and make them part of a human trafficking scheme. I'm sorry.
well to me
It's ridiculous.
it's also kind of like, man, QAnon really needs to be on Twitter, on TikTok if they want to see like, oh no, look at all, like, I mean, to me, and that's the thing where it's like, I
Yeah.
remember like a while
If you're
ago,
worried about 14-year-olds twerking, guess what? They're already
they
doing it on
already
TikTok.
doing it, and they're, and you know
Mm.
what, I
They didn't need She-Hulk. They didn't need She-Hulk to
yeah,
do it.
I don't know where they saw it, but I was just like, okay, I guess this is the thing. I guess this is the thing. Next part in your news.
Oh, sorry. Happier news. A lovely gentleman received an amazing standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, and that man is someone I believe 99% of the world is a fan of right now, and that is the great Brendan Fraser. He is in the upcoming film called The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky, visionary.
Best
Um,
known from Black Swan.
the Wrestler,
Yes.
Requiem for a Dream. Side note: someone borrowed that movie from me a long time ago. I didn't know what they wanted it for. I guess they were throwing a party and wanted to watch the movie, and they told me it was the worst thing they ever watched for a party. I'm like, why are you
What?
watching
Yeah.
Requiem for a Dream at a party? It's a downer movie, not a
Yeah.
party movie. Anyway, you should have told me what you're using it for.
They should play
Um,
the song "Requiem for a Dream," and they might just go and start fighting each other. But
yeah, exactly. But as part of this whole comeback of Brendan Fraser, a much well-deserved comeback for someone who's been through so much throughout the last few years. For 6 minutes straight, the video is heartwarming. It could bring a tear to your eye if you have any emotional response. But the fact that there are all these people around him at the Venice Film Festival applauding him, asking him to go back into the middle of the room so they can applaud him, and he does this like he's humbled, he's a little awkward, he does this funny little whole oh shucks and kicks his foot out a little bit, which was hilarious. But it's well deserved. I mean, Brendan Fraser has been a fantastic talent for so long in film. Whether it was School Ties, whether it was, I'm sorry, I'm going to defend Encino Man to the day I die. I love Encino Man.
George's
The
Jungle.
George the Jungle, the Mummy franchise, Crash. There's just, and recently with Doom Patrol, There's been so much he has been a part of, and he got the short straw in the last 10 years. And it's nice to see what I hope is an amazing comeback for him. It was actually cool to see that The Rock also retweeted the video with his own caption talking about how he got his start in Hollywood being in a Brendan Fraser franchise, The Mummy, and so he was thankful for Brendan letting him be a part of that, and was happy to see seeing Brendan get the respect he deserves.
I want to also talk a little bit about the whale, and the one thing I really liked excerpt wise was Brendan Fraser talking about how the film Darren Aronofsky wanted the character that Brendan Fraser plays to be this kind of reintroducing of someone back into the world. And Brendan Fraser's like, I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be kind of reintroduced back in the world. And if you just kind of read up on him, it's hard to kind of like pinpoint an exact timeline of everything that went on in his life and all the tragedies and all the hardships he went through. But like there are things I've had thoughts about in terms of the Hollywood industry, in terms of like the game of the child actor, the Hollywood stud, all these things, and how like these products, unfortunately, these people become products, and it's just like these are like not people, like, but the idea of the child actor, the idea of the child celebrity, the idea of like the hunk himbo, like they are failed products. Like these don't work for people because people will just break, and people can't be treated like these animals in cages that you just unleash like at carnivals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and hearing Brendan Fraser go and kind of destroy his body for the sake of perfectionism and looking good on camera is something I think just more people need to hear. It's something that I really enjoyed that Robert Pattinson talked about during the Batman when they shut down for COVID, and he was saying like, I'm not going to continue working out if we're not shooting because that's part of the problem. That you need to be this hot Huncules dude in order to get cast as a superhero character, and it's like, yeah, you can fit the part, but also why don't you just be a good actor too? And Brendan Fraser never got that leeway of like, hey, he's the hot guy, just put him in hot big movie stuff around the kind of like the highest point of his popularity, when movies like Crash really did show like he can act opposite of really great at the time celebrated industry actors, and it's like he does deserve a piece with them, and a chance to stay with them. So yeah, and actually was thinking about it, if Darren Aronofsky in that way, I think Darren Aronofsky, just even thinking about like Black Swan and The Whale in particular, um, he's kind of filling the role that Tarantino used to fill back in the day of reintroducing these actors into the world
Yep.
again, where he was really he kind of like brought Travolta back when Travolta kind of like lost popularity, and then in Pulp Fiction, and other actors as well. But like, yeah, bring like
David Carradine and Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
Um, was Mickey Rourke in Tarantino? No, that was Robert Rodriguez. Never
No,
mind, that was Robert Rodriguez.
but like Natalie Portman, she took a break after the Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
movies, and then she came back for Black Swan, got the Academy Award, and I was like,
Yep.
badass. And I'm hoping only the best for Brendan Fraser. We'll see. I mean, also Everything Everywhere All at Once still exists, so we'll see how that goes. Is that all your news?
I have one last bit. It's regarding the T-shirts I'm wearing. It's a quick wrestling update. It was a big weekend for professional wrestling. Both WWE and AEW had their pay-per-views this weekend. Saturday was WWE's Clash at the Castle, their first UK-based pay-per-view in over 30 years, over in Wales. Christian
Oh,
Bale country. Yeah. The main event was Roman Reigns defending his Undisputed title against Drew McIntyre, who was the hometown favorite, being from Scotland. And Roman Reigns pulled it off because he had some help from what is now the newest member of the bloodline, Solo Sikoa, who is also the younger brother of the Usos. This is Rikishi's youngest son, who has been in the WWE NXT program. This Sunday, he came out from under the ring and interfered, allowing Roman Reigns to keep his titles. So now we have a fourth bloodline member. The family just continues to grow. Roman keeps his title there. As for AEW, who had their Sunday pay per view called All Out, I believe it was in Vegas. Main event was undisputed AEW champion Jon Moxley going against best in the world CM Punk, and in the end, it was a bloody fight. CM Punk got his title back. CM Punk is once
Ooh.
again the AEW champion, and floating around on Twitter right now is the after pay-per-view press conference where Punk went off, and people are kind of wondering whether this was a work, like a stage thing, or if he was basically venting out real shit and not caring who heard it, because he pointed out some past friends who screwed him over and some current higher ups in the business, the company he's in right now, AEW. So everyone's wondering, is CM Punk just doing a storyline and doing a really good like Andy Kaufman angle at it by being as realistic as possible? Or is CM Punk really going off and not caring what happens, because that's what happened after the pay-per-view? So we will see what happens. But there are your updates. My two favorites in wrestling, Roman Reigns and CM Punk, are on top of their respective organizations as champions.
Nice. My news is going to be talking about some shows that came out recently. So one show came out after the other, but
How much shows?
Yeah, House of Dragons, House of the Dragon. Sorry,
Yes.
I want to call it House of Dragons because that just sounds
Two
cool.
House Dragons.
But
I like that.
it's no, I'll give it respect. Like I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna love and blunder it. I'm gonna be
Because
like,
listen, because seriously, if I hear House of the Dragon, I'm thinking Bruce Lee, and Bruce is not in this story, so it's like not the real dragon to me. I'm sorry.
fine. The Targaryen Tales.
There we go. Perfect.
Tales of the Targaryens.
Love it.
That premiered last week, and that came out to I feel like there was bigger hype for Game of Thrones during like season 6 when everyone started really catching on to it and all that stuff, not being like a downer and all that stuff, but they still had quite a viewing with a lot of people coming in to the point where even after the first episode they were renewed for season 2. Much to me, absolutely zero surprise, because Game of Thrones is still, even though it didn't have a lovely and loved and appraised and blessed and well received ending.
Upsetting, a little upsetting.
It was like the largest show of all time on TV for 6 years straight. And Tales of the Targaryens.
I like this name better. I really think I like this name better.
I started watching it I've been watching all these shows, and I'm like, no one, please stop recommending me shows. I need to watch these other shows. I'm all caught up with that now, and I think it's really good. It premiered at an 86% Rotten Tomatoes score, if that even matters. It doesn't matter to me at all. But the things I like about it's like, cool, it's an IP, so obviously everyone's like, ooh, I know it, and it makes me feel important that I know things, because I can't invest time into new characters because that's hard. But guess what? New characters, and I'm like, cool. And I really like it. I like where the story's going, and I'm like, cool, there's really good drama in there. Second thing is that this past week, the same time that the world ended on Disney Plus, Rings of Power premiered on Amazon Prime. And
that one I watched.
Guess what? Amazon Prime had to revoke user fucking ratings because a bunch of people were calling it woke trash, which made me just think of, it's like, it's so funny because everyone's like, it couldn't be made now? Tropic Thunder, because of all the liberal flakes. And I think about it right now, I'm like, what really couldn't be made right now? The 1998 Mulan, because that bitch fucking found a way to do something that all these other dudes couldn't do, and she ends up like running faster than Shang, and then the Emperor of China bows to her. She saves the day. She's not the first son.
Riddled with
woke feminazi shit, and I'm just like,
exactly.
I'm like, that movie couldn't be made today. Like that. And I was thinking, I was like, man, you know what? I should do that shit. I should just start being like an asshole. But I'm like, nope, can't do that. But anyways, so Rings of Power came out, 2-episode premiere. I have not finished the second one, but it has characters that you might remember if you love it, but also got hated on. So both shows, I feel like House of Dragons kind of came from a lot of people who were like, look, homie, I got trust issues because that ending of Game of Thrones, I don't know. And then
Hmm.
Ring of Power was already just getting shitted on to begin with because it was just like,
Why you
why
got black
why
dwarfs?
are
Why are
there
the dwarfs
brown
black?
people here?
That ain't right. That wasn't in the book.
And I'm just like, bro, but don't you want like new characters at all? Like I
No,
to me, and that's the thing. Like
they
I
don't.
I'm so drained of the IP. Like things that you know, things that you should know, references in your own culture, like Megan Thee Stallion. Like if you're gonna shit talk this Turkey, it's like, ugh, why? But I'm like,
Hmm.
to me, it's more of like, why put our culture into the MCU at all? But I'm like, it's fine. Like that's it. That's whatever. But like to me, I'm just like over. Like one thing I saw recently was like how The Simpsons kind of has like had their fall from grace because they do like a bunch of celebrity cameos, more like, hey, here's this cameo, and they're having a good time instead of like they're kind of making fun of the celebrities at all. Or like Harvey Firestein was like a regular character, just some random character, but they didn't like, oh hey, aren't you Harvey Firestein? And then they have like a bit, and then they leave. Where that happens with Katy Perry and a bunch of other these like musical cast guest stars, and it's like when you're more focused on the audience's relationship to your show instead of like the character's relationship to the show.
Hmm.
That being said, I know that Jessica Gao, the showrunner for She-Hulk, who wrote for Rick and Morty, specifically the Pickle Rick episode, knew the actor, I don't know her name, for She-Hulk, loves Megan Thee Stallion. So it was like a big deal for them as a production, which is fun because you do think about it in that way of like, these are collaborators just having a good time. So, there's that. But here you got two stories in fantasy, no TikTok, no, no needle drops, no cult pop culture like things like what. Hey, look. Hey, do you want just like rich potentially storytelling that you can have that if you're like anti whatever, like anti twerking, I guess you could be happy about? Nope. Fucking
Nope.
the rivers run the same of just like, if you're not my dude ran IP that I remember from years ago, then get the fuck out.
I need more white
Yeah.
male.
And yeah, so but to me, I like both. I watched both.
I need to watch Targaryen still.
I was much more invested in Game of Thrones than I was for Lord of the Rings, but it doesn't make me miss out on the understanding of the cultural importance of Lord of the Rings, as well as the seminal work and the influences it gave out Lord of the Rings. Like it's such like this godfather of fantasy that I'm like,
yeah.
look, this is powerful. I will say, just as an opinion,
Powerful.
Rings of Power is shot way more beautifully and I think more cinematic than House of
Yeah.
Dragons. And I think House of Dragons so far, it's got me hooked faster. It's like ready to go. But the thing is, I'm worried is that it is it's so much gas. It's so much like drama. Here we go, fighting, good choreography, good like tension building. That I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna sustain this for like more than
It's
2
gonna let up.
seasons.
Yeah.
And that's my big worry. Where Rings of Power, I'm kind of like, okay, baby, we get it. It's so much fucking setup for like the first 10 minutes, but I was like,
Yeah.
okay, get like, and I'm like, okay, these are kind
Which
of
which is true like to the movies, because Fellowship of the Ring was the setup movie basically, where it sets everything up and it ends in a way where you're like, oh wait, it ends that way and there's more coming. Oh, okay, all right, I'll hang in there, I guess.
Well, I mean, to me, and like the interesting thing, it's not tit for tat, right? It's you have Tales of Targaryens, which is all about the Targaryens and all the different houses and all the people vying for the Iron Throne, like always. And then here, you're like, oh well, it's not really about a Frodo, and it's not
No, it's
really
way before him.
Well, no, I
It's
mean,
way
not even that, but
before-
it's like it's not even about like one particular character.
Oh yeah,
It's not like about a fellowship. If you think about it, it's kind of about like one character and then another character, and you're like, how are these two characters even connected? What does it even mean?
Mhm.
And you're like, all right, well, let me see where did this go. So like,
They're bound to meet somewhere, I think. Let's
yeah.
keep going.
So like there's that, right? So like, even then there are some similarities that you're like, ooh, I do want to go back to that because you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is always about these families and all these fighting, so it seems familiar, but it's so much more heavily concentrated around Targaryens. Where here it's like, okay, this is so much more about elves than anything. And you know, like you had The Hobbit, which is like all about dwarves, and then you had, you know, and everyone cried and hated it. And then you have The Lord of the Rings, it's like it's all about hobbits, and you're like, okay, cool. And so whatever. But moving on, we can go to questions.
Ooh.
And everyone, this is the second part of the show, the last part of the show, where we're going to go answer questions from you, the people. And I realize when I host these shows without Josh that I never do the spiel, that you could send your questions over at nerdon.tv/questions.
Questions.
You could also join our free Discord at nerdon.tv/Discord.
Discord.
And you can submit them into our update questions channel. But if you join the Nerd-On Nation at nerdon.tv/Patreon, for $1, you can get a front seat, a first in queue for your questions, and they'll be premiered on the next one immediately. You always get chosen first. I choose the questions, so whenever I see like a patron puts down a question, I'm like, I'm gonna grab that one, and then it goes to all the people who do all the free stuff. So, all that being said, our first question of the day. Actually, I have to make sure I copy down these other ones, but I'll ask it first so you can answer it first, Steve's. The first question is going to be from Brad.
Hi, Brad.
And his question is,
long-time listener, first-time caller.
What's a pop culture hypothetical that you like to ask just to see people's responses? One of my favorites, what does Poison Ivy eat?
Oh, she's vegan.
So she eats her.
Oh, wait, no, I'm an asshole. No, I'm an asshole. I meant the opposite. My bad.
I mean, I don't think it's an asshole. I think that's just cannibalistic.
Yeah. No, I think I think she's like fish and chicken type. I don't think she'll touch her plants.
I mean, according to, I haven't watched this season of Harley Quinn, but I can guess what she does eat.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Quinn's bits.
Yeah, I was wondering where we're going here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My mind went there.
I mean
my mind's gone there before.
That's the only thing I know that she eats. I mean, you know what? They might have an episode where she's like, you know what, I don't do that, and you know they do something else with them rose vine tentacle things. You don't know.
Macaroni in a pot
with maple syrup.
I approve.
But I mean, in physical sustenance.
Oh, you're gonna actually answer it. Okay.
She is of the green now, so she is like Swamp Thing. So she doesn't really have a physical body anymore, I think. Like, because she could just recreate herself like Swamp Thing, and that's what happened at the end of Heroes in Crisis by Tom King. Is that they thought Poison Ivy died, but she didn't because she's part of the green, so she could just reanimate.
That's right.
So technically, she has to eat soil and sunlight.
Lucky bitch.
Both my answers were scientific.
I think they're both accurate.
And wet. The next question is
photosynthesis.
Also, T-Dog, no Josh tonight because he will not shame the naturalness that is humans doing the do. Next question is going to be Thomas.
Wait,
well, it was to my answer of like Poison Ivy probably eats Harley Quinn's,
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Chinese takeout.
Delicious.
And Josh apparently has a shame cam, and I'm like, nope. Out here, where we're from, sex is normal.
Thomas
Rio asks, "What's your favorite Cologne?"
Cologne.
Champagne.
Champagne. I have always been a wearer of Armani's Acqua di Gio.
That's the only one I own.
Yeah, that's all I've ever worn for the longest time.
Why is that? Okay, when did you get it? How did you get it?
My wife
just
loves
a
the smell
dude
of it.
thing?
No, my wife loves the scent of it. That's her favorite, so I wear that.
Because I got that because I had a quick moment where I was like, I think I was in high school or I was in college, and I had a friend, and she was a girl, and it was like literally like the she's all that
Nice.
moment where I was like, hey, I got some extra money. Dudes always try to be macking on you. Do you want to like go and help me like pick out new clothes? And she was like, Tom, I got you. And she's like, also
Nice.
make sure you buy this. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, and you gotta do that. I'm like, okay. And so she just decked me out in a bunch of different clothes, and then also made sure I got an Aqua di Gio.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's my only one, Thomas Del Rio.
Did you
Um,
then go to a dance together and was Usher DJing? Did that happen?
you know what? Actually, not that year, but several
Did
years
it
later, my
really?
senior year
Usher
of
Usher was there.
no, the
Oh,
senior so in my senior year of college, I ended up taking her to my formal
nice.
my fraternity formal dance, and then everyone was like, "Yo, Tom, what's up?" And I was like, "Dude, relax, man. You have a date." Then I'm like,
Uh,
"Why don't you go talk to her because we're not
yeah.
dating?" But then also, you have a date, man.
hmm At one point, did like all the students break into a dance they all knew by heart but had never practiced together? Because that always
It
happens.
was that one
Rock
Backstreet's Back
right
song.
about now, funk soul. Oh, okay.
It
I
was
remember.
everybody, and then they do the,
Oh
so
yeah, and then everyone did it. Yeah, because that always happens in high
it
school.
was it
Everyone
was
knows
the
the
it
same
was the, it
dance.
was the white
Yeah.
loose
Yeah.
windbreakery
Bum,
clothes.
ba-da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
bum,
Da-da.
ba-da-da. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Movies tell the truth.
Yeah, you saw that when you were like,
Yeah.
in your
Back in my day, we were at a sock hop. It was a sock hop,
a sock hop.
and this guy named McFly was up there playing the guitar, and he said something about our. We won't know this music, but our kids will love it. Something like that. I don't remember.
Gotcha. This was right after Earth Angel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Ah, uh-huh.
And then yeah, and then Marvin Berry,
Yeah,
was
Marvin
playing.
was there.
Yeah,
Called his cousin Chuck.
not Chuck, but Marvin.
No, he wasn't there. He
Okay,
wasn't there.
okay.
They like it. It was fun.
Um, last of the picked questions in the bin come from T Dog 8282. Oh my God, what is this? Oh no, this is not one. I lied.
What? Oh,
I lied because we answered that last week. This comes from Ethan Who,
Ethan.
and this is okay. He's asking for us to draw a line in the sand.
Oh,
Is it
I don't like that.
Whole Foods or Whole Foods? Where is the emphasis?
Whole Foods.
So Whole Foods.
Yeah, I emphasize the whole.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Are the people that go Whole Foods? Is that what they're
I
doing?
think so. I mean, do you know about 99 Ranch Market, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people call it Ranch 99. I'm like, no, it's 99
Ranch,
Ranch.
ranch market. Yeah.
It's
I call
99
it
Ranch.
Whole Foods. Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Emphasis is on the whole.
Yeah.
You
Whole
emphasize on the whole, like Poison Ivy does on Harley. Count it.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Both of them. Even distribution. But I mean,
That was my late show.
Seth,
If Paul Schaefer was here, it'd be the drums. Ding. Questlove would have been pow. Yeah, anyway.
I was gonna say Craig Ferguson would have been throwing away the cards.
Yes.
And then the fucking skeleton would be like,
God
oh my.
damn it. I miss Craig Ferguson's late show. I loved that so much.
So
It's a coming to go. I loved his. Oh, I want to go back and watch old Ferguson clips on YouTube. Sorry.
Be careful because Leno's Fly is an account that will just populate on your thing, and it'll be the most times that Craig Ferguson just flirts with his female guests, and it's just like, oh my God, it's getting hot, and it's just like effortless, and it's just like he's just so good. He's just like, and he's like, what do you? He's just like drinking his stupid snake mug, and he's like,
Yes.
yeah. and then they're just like about it. I'm just like, this
Wiley
man,
Scotsman. That's
this
Scotsman.
man has gotten it. So now we can go to some of the questions from the chat. Please, if anyone has more questions, let us know. T Dog, since I gypped you out of your question, I'll ask yours first.
Yeah, get him in there.
A question from T Dog 8282. Cool Ranch or nacho cheese?
Ooh. Valid question. I find myself leaning toward Cool Ranch more than nacho cheese.
Same. I like Cool
Mhm.
Ranch. Cool Ranch has that zest, that
Mhm.
little weird thing going on.
Mhm.
Nacho cheese, you're just like, processed cheese. It tastes good on
Yeah.
your fingies. But then here you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, I got a little bit of like this salty sour thing going
Exactly.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't pass up nacho cheese if that's all there is. But Cool Ranch is there. I'm taking the Cool Ranch.
Same. Cool Ranch.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, this one comes from Black Diablo Mamba. Oh my
What's
god.
up?
Question.
Mm.
You are in a trios match, 3v3.
Ooh,
Tom and
okay.
Steve's. Pick your
right.
wrestler, then pick a non-wrestler. After
Okay.
that, name one event, non-wrestling. So the lineup is wrestling match, Tom's non-wrestling event, and then Steve's non-wrestling event. Who will win? Be
Holy
it
shit,
as
okay.
honest as possible. Oh my god. This is
So
like holy
so we are
shit.
part of our respective teams, and we pick two others. One is a wrestler, one is not a wrestler. So like Tom has two guys he picks, and I have two guys I pick. Okay. All right. Oh, this is not as easy as I think it is. Uh-huh.
But then they have to do these events after the wrestling match. And so
So it's like they have a wrestling match and they do something that's not wrestling related after. Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This is an insane question. Okay. I like
It is.
this question though. I think
I like the theme of picking trios because that's been a recent addition to AEW where it's not just a tag team, it's a 3-member team who now can go for championship belts. I like that. Trios. Okay. Recent trios champions, by the way, are Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. This is tough. And it can't be an actor who used to be a wrestler, right?
I think that's valid. One of mine is going to be that for sure.
Do you have your team yet? I'm still thinking my team.
I think I have my team, but I'm just trying to figure out what's my non-wrestling event.
Oh yeah.
Because my wrestling event happens before yours. So if I want to, I can get I can get an event that just like destroys your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if we just pick two bruisers in a wrestling match, then it's like, let's just say like this: I'm not gonna do this event, but it's like, cool, we're gonna do a monologathon, and I'm gonna have Gary Oldman in my team with Dave Bautista.
Okay.
Right. So I have a wrestler and then I have a non-wrestler. But if you pick, John Cena and then Randy Orton, Gary Oldman will not make it to my event. He will be dead by that time. So I'm like, okay,
which one's first? Yeah,
you have to be strategic. You got to be strategic. You know what I'm saying? I think I got my pick though.
Do it.
Okay, my pick for the team. Okay, so let's do this. How about we do the team and then we do our event after?
Yeah, let's do that.
So my team: John Cena, Jackie Chan, and me.
Nice. It's a good mix. I like that. Okay. I'm gonna go. Well, since you got John Cena, I'm gonna go Rock.
Okay.
I'm gonna cite wrestling Rock. And my actor, I'm gonna choose.
Doesn't have to be an actor. It could be a musician.
That's true. But I'm gonna go.
Megan Thee Stallion could be a twerkathon at the
end. Shoot. Hang on. Let me make sure I got this right. John David Washington.
Okay. And then
it's gonna be it's a ballers reunion between Rock and John David Washington.
Okay, so my event and then your event because my event comes first. Okay. So my non-wrestling event will be so I picked John Cena and I picked Jackie Chan. Chinese singing competition.
Ooh.
I know one song in Chinese. I don't know what the words mean at all. John Cena speaks Chinese and Jackie Chan literally sings Chinese.
You got the strength there. Good job. I like that. Okay. Mine is going to be tractor tire flipping.
Oh my god.
Because I know both Rock and John David can do it, and I do it. So there you go.
I mean, John Cena could do it. Jackie Chan
John
could do it.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm the one that's the weak link there, where I'm like, I think I can. I just can't get it fast enough, baby. I'm like, John Cena, put me in the wheel. Now you
Put me in the wheel,
now
John.
do 2 wheels. That was good. I like that one.
Yeah.
Who will win? I think I win.
Oh, do you?
Because the Chinese song one completely none of your guys could do that.
That'll give you a definite lead. You just better hope that Rock and John David don't pull something out of a hat and like have studied since then.
True. And I'm also banking on the fact that because between there was the titans of martial arts like Donnie Yen, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Chan was like the buffest of all of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like he could probably do tire flips. So I'm banking on him doing tire flips. So it's like technically, like let's say like this, right? So it's like in this wrestling match, who wins, Jackie Chan or John David Washington?
Oh, I think Jackie would win against John David, and then it just depends upon
you and me.
You and I, and Rock and Cena would go at it, and those two are 1-1 in their history of fighting each other.
We could say that's 2. That's even. So I take the fall for you. John David takes the fall for Jackie, and then the singing one, Jackie, John Cena are fine.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like pretty fine with Tonghua, the song. It's called Fairy Tale. I'm pretty okay with that. I can probably do that.
No shot.
You done. John David Washington, I don't know. The Rock, I don't know.
I can hum, maybe Rock. I can hum some scores that are of Asian descent, but I can't do words. No, that's not working.
Okay. And then the tire flip. Let's say I'm out. Let's say John Cena's in, Rock's in, John David Washington's in, Jackie Chan is in, but maybe not as good as John David Washington. I think I still have you beat by 1 point.
It's possible. It's possible.
All right.
It's possible.
Next question. We got 2 more for the end of the night. Okay, I see this question real quick because I gotta answer. I put this one in there because I think my boy is putting me on blast.
Uh-oh.
Also, but I also kind of save it if Corey can be in it. But it's like,
tell me what it is. What is it? What are we doing?
Heroic Adamus is asking, what kind of deck in Magic the Gathering do you build to counter people in your pod who generate token creatures and sack them to ping you for damage?
I got nothing.
He's asking because I do that. What you do to build that? Green-white deck. White is so I play a blue-black deck, as Steve's, and I can create a lot of tokens, and then I can just destroy all the guys, and then they're all going to do damage to you. White Magic likes to stop and counter all your shit, and it can destroy enchantments and creatures. And green could destroy a lot of enchantments, and gain you a lot of life gain.
Writing it down.
So I'd say that. Green-white, baby. The exact opposites of black-blue. Instead of ramping cards, you're ramping
colors.
You're ramping mana and resources.
Tommy Oliver colors. Got it. Green and white.
Swords of Plowshare, Generous Gift, Path to Exile.
Jesus Christ,
get all of the white removal spells. You need all the white removal spells.
Remove all the whites. Got it.
Just build a Zozu Land Destructive. No, Lovehammer. Okay, so next question. We're gonna go to 1992 Johnny Horror. I hope. I feel like Johnny Horror. I don't know.
Johnny Horror. I like that name.
Exactly. I'm just like, I hope you do like horror movies, and it's like we can just keep throwing horror movie suggestions at you, or you can throw horror movie suggestions at us. But also, I don't want to say like that your name is your entire personality. Question: what movie or animated movie you like that you don't care what anybody says, but you know it didn't do well? Oh, so something that didn't do well, but you like no matter what. That, you know, you defend, as Barry would say, till the cows come home.
Iron Man 3.
I do defend that one, but it did well.
But it did well, and people do like that one, so. It's just like, The Dark Knight Rises. It's like, man, that did well too, baby.
It did well.
Yeah. Didn't do well. And I will defend it all the time. And I can't count Man of Steel because it made $600 million in the box
Yeah, it
office.
still did well.
BVS made almost $1 billion, so it's like these did well. I'm never going to defend Justice League. Zacky Snyder Justice League doesn't really have a metric, but like it technically made $600 million.
Justice League.
Uh-huh.
What? Damn, what is one that I really liked?
Giant Horde is Balto 2.
Balto 2. Interesting.
You know what's crazy is The Mummy didn't do well.
The first one?
Critically does not do well. None of the Mummies
Really?
movies do critically well.
Really? I didn't know
And
that.
that's the funny thing where everyone's like, "Oh, this is such a beloved movie." It's like, I mean, maybe now.
It is now. Now it is.
Now it is because people realize like, oh man, action adventures are actually really hard to do.
Mhm.
And the fact that it had the Mummy as an IP, but like it's a very different story than the original Mummy.
Oh, yeah.
Classic horror movie.
Yeah.
But it's like action adventure. But like the same movie. Have you seen Deep Rising?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same director.
Oh.
If you watch, it's the same thing.
Okay.
A bunch of mercenaries go to a place to try to rob a shit, and then they get stopped by like an evil ancient creature. Love and hilarity ensues. It has a lot of terrifying things, but then it's like mainly like the charismatic main guy who plays like Nathan Drake from Uncharted.
Nathan Drake.
So
What is one? God, I'm trying to think of one that like.
let me.
Because I have a few that like were panned by critics but did financially well. Like Bad Boys 2, I loved to death. Critics hated it, but it did well. It did well at the box office.
Beloved movies that bombed. Shawshank Redemption.
That bombed.
28
think
million
of that, man?
domestically, and it cost 25 million to make. Children of Men. How much?
Great films.
Children of Men cost 76 million to make, and it only made 70 million.
That's a fantastic movie.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World
Oh,
cost 60 million to make, only made 47 million. Donnie Darko.
I can see that.
Slither. Dread. The Iron Giant. Oh man. Oh wow. The Iron Giant made it almost. It cost 70 million to make, and it only made 23.2 million. Oh my.
that's saddening.
See, look, guys. This is why I say what I say. This is why I talk all the shit I talk about Disney all the fucking time. Because all you motherfuckers always just watch Disney Plus shit all the goddamn time, instead of watching these fucking movies that, like, on hindsight, you're like, oh my god, how come it been? And then you're just like, well, I didn't watch it opening weekend. I was just waiting for it to come on streamers. It's like, motherfucker, you got to vote with your goddamn dollars. You got to be that fucking cringy motherfucker who watched Captain Marvel 96 fucking times. You have to do that shit.
I like Captain Marvel.
That's fine. You can watch it. Watch it 96 times. That's no.
No,
I'll rip my own skull out of my head.
dare you? You won't. No, I'm kidding.
Spider-Man.
John
2,
Carpenter's The Thing was a flooding.
Yeah,
That's
man.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
But like the thing is like what? But like the question kind of says no matter what, right? Like because sometimes people doesn't care what anybody says, so people have to shit on the movie too that you like. That you like, and people shit on it. This is a hard one. You guys have some good, long, hard questions.
Yeah.
Um,
God, I know there is one too, and it's like it's hiding in my brain that I have.
Ben Affleck and Daredevil. Green Lantern that Jeff Johns wrote.
Oh, you know what? Was Death Proof considered a flop that was panned?
I don't think so.
Because
I think
is-
it critically did really well, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's see how it did.
Because
Because it was part of
that
Grindhouse,
is-
so like Grindhouse, I
Yeah.
don't think did that well. Yeah.
that's one of my favorite Tarantino films.
So Death Proof itself, yeah, it kind of bombed. Yeah, 31 million, and it cost 30 million to make.
See, I like Death Proof.
But it was 65% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it deserves more than that.
I don't even think people talk shit about it though.
It's true, they shouldn't.
I don't know who does though.
Guys, this is ugh.
I mean, Zacky Snyder Justice League, right?
But even that one has gotten better critical response
Claim, yeah,
than
but like
Justice.
people talk shit about how long it is, and to me, I'm like, bitch, you watch fucking Game of
I
Thrones all the goddamn time. Get the fuck
the
out of my
whole
face.
the whole long thing doesn't work for me anymore. When
No,
Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King was 3.5 hours,
yeah, no, but also it's just like, bro,
and
imagine
nowadays
paying $10 and you got more movie.
you can watch it as a TV series. Watch it an hour at a time if you want.
Yeah.
You can do that now with it.
Tron Legacy, yep. But not a lot of people talk shit about that. A lot of
No,
people
I
actually
don't talk
really
shit
like
about
it.
it.
A lot of
You
people
might
actually,
get a I never saw it.
a lot of people actually like want that to come back. As
Mhm.
much as they do, as much as they want. I feel like,
Getting
oh,
hung up on this.
I don't know. Hold on, let me see. Because you know what? People talk a lot of shit about this movie, and I fucking love this movie, and I will defend it every damn day of the week.
What do you
Every goddamn day of the week. Oh no, it made a lot of money. Yeah.
Which one?
Batman Forever, baby. Bat nips all day, baby. I can. Come on, man. So
I
good.
talk shit, but I always say it's way better than Batman and Robin.
Bro, I mean, like, that was my first Batman when I ever watched, and seeing that CGI man
Keaton
jump
wasn't
off
first
the,
for you?
no, I first ever
Oh.
Batman ever, and I was like, oh my god, Nicole Kidman's so hot, and I realized that 70% of her lines are all 80 yard.
Yeah.
And but like seeing Batman
But that
jump
bed
off the
so,
building,
but that bed scene though.
that slip,
Mm-hmm.
rubber.
I mean, that is a high part in that
And
movie.
I was like, oh my god. And also,
Oh my god.
what's the have you ever been to the circus? A movie that people talk shit. Okay, you know what? Let me
Was-
look at most shit talked movies. Most.
I love Event Horizon. Was that one shit on?
Oh, I think so. Actually, I think you found it.
That's
'Cause-
mine then. Because Event Horizon, I love Event Horizon.
Because Event Horizon, I don't think did
Demonic
well at all.
space.
30% Rotten Tomatoes, 42 million.
Event Horizon.
Budget 60.
There it is. Event Horizon's mine.
Most hated.
I
movies.
will tell you to add that to every horror sci-fi list you're trying to make. Event Horizon is worthy of it. Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, and a demonic spaceship. I'm sold. And I saw that in the theater alone with two buddies in an empty theater. So that just added to it.
Okay, let me see. Oh, you know what?
Hmm.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I just saw one from the 2000s. Okay, let me keep looking. I hate a lot of these movies that are on here. But
I just realized another one. Encino Man. I love Encino Man. I think that was panned pretty hard, but that goes back to Brendan Fraser. I want an Encino Man reunion. I want that to happen now. Get me Sean Astin, Brendan Fraser, and Pauly Shore back together for a reunion of Encino Man. What Link is up to now.
wait, is this? Yes.
Give me
yes.
that movie.
And this didn't make any money at all. Yes.
You found one.
I got it.
What you got?
Kevin Smith, Jersey Girl.
Good pick.
I like that movie a lot.
Good pick.
And it took me a long time to realize that it was actually a Kevin Smith movie. But I remember as a kid watching it, I'm like, oh, cool, J-Lo and Ben Affleck, they're a thing. And then, like, spoilers, J-Lo dies in the movie giving childbirth. And then it's about him trying to, like, come up with his life again. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it's, like, fucking weird and shit and funny. But I'm like, Kevin Smith. I love Kevin Smith. And also, it's just, like, there's, like, a stupid, funny thing where, like, there's this little boy who likes his daughter, and then so Ben Affleck like interrogates the dude, and he's like, "What are your thoughts? What are your plans with my daughter?" And then later on, Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck are making out in like the bathtub.
She returns the.
And then she does like, "What are your intentions for your father?" I'm like, "There you go." And then they had this funny joke about like how to wipe your daughter's poopy diaper. It's like, you go forward, you go backwards. And I'm like, there's comedy. There's comedy.
Grandpa is George Carlin, the legend.
Yeah.
George Carlin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably Kevin Smith's most wholesome movie.
Probably.
If you can say that.
I mean, this is after the
It's after all the Silent Bobs
Clerks
are done.
and super bad. Oh, not super.
After Dogma.
Mallrats.
Yeah, after Dogma, after Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah. I love Dogma.
Dogma's
After chasing
fantastic.
Amy and all that shit.
Dogma's. Perfect. But yeah, no, that's a good one. Jersey Girl. I love Jersey Girl. That's a good choice.
Yeah, there you go. No
So
matter
so
what.
there you go. We got Event Horizon, honorable mentions, Encino Man, and then we got Jersey Girl for
Jersey
Tom right there. I like that. Yeah.
I think
That question stumped us for a
that
bit.
was a big question. That was good job, Johnny. I think these next questions are too big for us to ask, and I'd rather hold them up for next week.
Okay.
But I think that's going to end all the questions. So we're just going to chit chat, wrap up the night. Thank you, everyone,
Chitty chatty.
for all that. Johnny Horror. Also, I mean, I don't know if you heard that part where we're like, do we offer you horror movie suggestions, or do you offer us horror movie
Johnny.
suggestions?
Mr. Horror, Mr. 92 Horror.
Okay, hold on. We got one request, one more question. T Dog 82.
Okay.
What's the best flavor of Gatorade and what's the worst flavor?
I'm fruit punch everything.
Okay.
Typically, when it comes to any drinks, sports drinks, energy drinks, fruit punch has always been my favorite. What don't I like? Probably the basic lemon lime. I'm because that was like the basic Gatorade, wasn't it? The lemon lime one. I'm like, no, that's not. I mean, if it's all you got, fine, but that's the least one I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the red or the blue or that icy looking.
Yeah, I don't know
one
flavors.
before.
I know the colors.
Yeah, red, blue, and the icy look.
And I'll tell you right now, when Black Panther came out, me and Corey got a lot of purple because we
There
were
you
saying,
go.
and then you strip the powder away, drink the powder with the Black
Yeah, that was your Forrest Whitaker, the Black Panther.
Panther, strip the powder. So that was
It's a good
I drank a lot of that shit. Oh man, I had the whole M'Baku challenge down to a fucking T. That to me, that whole opening, like the first half of that movie was
So
gas.
goddamn So goddamn.
And then my least favorite, any of the fucking low sugar, zero sugar shits.
Yeah.
They all taste like ass.
Yeah,
No,
You know
T
you're
Dog,
drinking
no more
fake.
questions.
I got 3 questions.
But yeah, thank you everybody. Heroic Adamus, Love Hammer, Black Diablo Mamba, Johnny Horror, T Dog. Thank you, Steve's, and also Backstreet Boys, She-Hulk, QAnon. Thank you for all making appearances. The Rock.
Do not thank Q. Do not thank QAnon on this show.
I mean, I always say it like this.
Huh.
Could be worse. We could have worse than QAnon. We could have like Aranon.
What's that?
I don't know. It's after Q.
Get lower and lower down the chart.
Yeah, and then finally we get Xenon, and it's all the Generation Z people now.
Xenon.
Later, and
Xenon. Isn't that a metal of some sort or something? Xenon.
That's a gas.
Gas.
Those
That's
are the
it.
noble gases on the
The
right side.
They're noble. They're noble gases. They
You know
wear
why
robes.
they're noble, right?
Because they wear robes and they sit at a round table.
No,
They're noble.
because they have 8 covalent
They were of the higher
electrons.
class and never got the Black Plague.
So on the outer rim of their electron rings, they have 8, so they
Yes.
can't merge with other atoms like other ones
it
can.
is.
So they're noble.
And they
'cause
never-
can
And they never lie.
so they're incels.
They never lie. Oh, they're incels. Ah.
You know, they don't. They can't get with other
And
molecules.
and they hate seeing She-Hulk twerk because they're incels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Xenon.
Xenon. There it is.
But what T Dog is talking about, a Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, is a Disney Channel original movie series
Oh.
with Zetus Lapidus Supernova as a music star.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna find so we can raid.
Rate them.
Yes.
Raid.
We're gonna go ahead and I guess we're gonna raid Una because they're playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where there are big boobied people,
I'm
and you
watching that.
capture them, and they actually
Yes.
become weapons.
Awesome.
But also it's a Switch exclusive, and
I have a Switch.
a Nintendo Switch
I have one.
for your kids.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good parent.
Yeah. I play half the games because they watch me.
Now go get them a PS5. See how much you're willing to go to the black market for that shit. That should be a movie. That should be the new Jingle All the Way. Get the PS5.
They're gonna enjoy the PS4 and they're gonna like it. Okay.
All right, everybody. Take care. Thank you, Astiz, for co-hosting tonight.
Of course.
You all know the drill, as always.
Scissor me, idiots.
And,
it's an AEW thing.
And also
Nerd on.